Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to all our 12th Monarchs out there in Monarch Nation, coming off a very exciting win on Saturday versus Marshall. Would like to welcome John DeGratola and our folks from Optima Health that are here today. How a big round of applause for our folks from Optima Health. Yeah. Great supporters of Old Dominion University and our program. We're honored to have them here with us today. Saturday was a special day for our program. The 38-14 win put our record at 6-3, 4-1 in Conference USA, which keeps us tied for first place right now in the loss column. And a big thank you to everybody at Old Dominion, all our fans, students, the 12th Monarchs, and to our former players who laid the foundation for our first ever bowl game that we'll be invited to this year. Special thank you to all those former players who came here when nobody knew what the future held, and really proud of all those players. Have spoke to some, messaged with a lot of them, and they're very excited and proud of their team. This was a very good team win for our program. The keys to victory in this one were a strong start to the game. We took the opening drive, went 75 yards to take a 7-0 lead. Our defense comes out on the field, goes 3 and out. The offense comes back out, goes 68 yards, and puts us up 14-0 early in the game. So getting off to such a strong start was key. And then also the way we started the second half. We kicked off to Marshall. Again, our defense gets a 3 and out, and our offense drives the length of the field to score, to take a 21-7 halftime lead and make it 28-7. So the strong starts at the beginning of the game and the second half were critical. Looking at our three units, our special teams, we had moments in this game when we were solid, but we were not good overall in the game. We knew that Marshall was one of the top-ranked units in Conference USA, and we've got some areas that we know we need to improve on, and we will. Defensively, we had 5 3-and-outs in this game. Marshall ran 49 plays for 214 yards, and on 11 possessions, our defense stopped them 9 times in this game. And this was clearly my favorite tackle chart of all time. We had 5 players that had 4 tackles. We had 6 players that had 3 tackles in this game. And what I mean by that is there wasn't one player with 15 tackles. This was a complete unit effort by our defense in this game. Brandon Addison set a school record with 5 pass breakups. Brandon challenged himself going against one of the better receivers in the league, and Michael Clark, who he was giving up 8 inches and about 30 pounds to him, and he covered him the majority of the game. We had some different combinations going coverage-wise, but Brandon really stepped up to the challenge and held a very good receiver in the league without a catch. So that epitomized the overall performance of our defense in this game. Chase Litton, who I think is an outstanding young quarterback for Marshall, averaged 282 yards a game passing. Our defense held him to 87 yards in this game. So it was an excellent performance overall by our defense. Offensively, 38 points. We ran 77 plays for 461 yards. And my 2 favorite statistics, number 1, 0 turnovers and only 1 penalty for 5 yards in this game. We continue to play winning football on offense by valuing the football. And what I mean by that is understanding that if we don't score, punting is a very good thing, because that helps us with field position and it helps us with momentum in the game. And our players on offense continue to do an outstanding job, and our coaches are doing a very good job coaching that. Ray Lowry, as everybody can tell, is healthy now. 27 carries for 209 yards, a 7.7 yard average. He had excellent vision in this game. His ability to cut was obvious. He had some good blocking up front by the offensive line, tight end, wide receivers. Those guys are all working hard for him. David Washington, 0 turnovers in this game. He threw for nearly 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. I thought our wide receivers ran very good routes and made some difficult catches in traffic in this game. Overall, it's a very good team win for us and a really solid performance as a football team against a Marshall team that's handled us easily the last 2 years. Speaking to Southern Mississippi's 5-4 right now. They're 3-2 in the league. They are the defending Western Division champions in Conference USA. This is a very good football team statistically. They're at or near the top of Conference USA in all three phases of special teams, defense, and offense. They're fourth in scoring offense at 33.6. They're fourth in scoring defense, 28.8 points allowed per game. They run the ball well. They stop the run well. They're really good on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage with their offensive and defensive line play. They throw the ball for 308 yards a game, and they're the #1 pass defense in Conference USA, one of the top pass defenses in the country. They only allow 168 yards per game. They're excellent on special teams. Their kicker's 48 for 49 on field goals and extra points this year. He's got 15 touchbacks on kickoffs, which is excellent. They have the #1 punter in Conference USA. He averages 45 yards per punt. What has really hurt this team so far is that they're -12 in turnover margin. They're last in the league, which is surprising when you look at them. And it's been in some critical situations in games. In the Charlotte game that they just played, they turned the ball over 3 times and were not able to take the ball away from Charlotte. So that's really what has hurt them. This will clearly be a major challenge for our football team. We'll need a great week of planning and preparation, which started yesterday with our coaches and our players meeting so we could start to plan, and then a really good week of preparing during practice that'll hopefully lead to good execution on Saturday when we play Southern Miss. And I'll take questions.
Coach, you said going into that game it was going to be a very physical game, that you were expecting a physical game, but you guys seem to manhandle them at the point of attack. Where are you guys now, physically? I mean, are you guys tired, or do they feel good, or where are they right now?
Well, it was an interesting game from that we ran 77 plays on offense, and we had the least amount of plays this year that we've had on defense. We had 49 total plays on defense, and we were able to take some of the players, particularly defensively, that have played every play. You look at guys like Brandon Addison and Aaron Young that rarely come off the field. Those guys both played 41 snaps of football in this game, so it was really good for us defensively from that standpoint. To be able to, particularly in the fourth quarter, be able to get some of those backup ones in. We're in a good place right now physically. Fortunately, we came out of the game. We were bumped and bruised like you are when you're 2.5 months into with preseason and everything. But from a health standpoint, we're in a really good place right now.
You mentioned what I thought was a very indicative stat: 5 and outs, or 3 and outs in 10 possessions, I believe it was. As a coach, you've been on the other side of that before. How demoralizing is that to an offense when it just keeps, especially I think it was the first 4 possessions in the second half?
Yeah, it was. There was a stretch in the second quarter and the third quarter where our defense was consistently 3 and out. And not only does it bring a lot of energy to your team, particularly for all the players on the sideline, because the offensive players see that, and the offensive players are excited for the defense, and then that helps to energize them to go out and respond. But it's adding confidence for our defensive players. The performance we've had the last 2 weeks, going on that long trip out to El Paso and performing like we did, coming off a Western Kentucky game where there weren't a lot of people around here feeling really good about themselves. We're making progress in that area, and I think it's pretty clear to see that our players are gaining confidence in themselves. We continually keep telling them, Dave, that if they just do their job, if they just do their responsibility, we'll continue to improve as a team. And we've seen it the last couple weeks on defense. When they do their job, we're making progress on that side of the ball.
Bobby, Nick Mullins had a concussion Saturday night. They haven't said whether he's going to play this Saturday or not. How does that change your preparation for this game? And his backup also had a concussion. So how does that change how you prepare for Southern Miss?
Yeah, at this point, we're not certain of their status. We're preparing as if they're playing. We're preparing that they have 2 very good quarterbacks, and we're preparing to see both quarterbacks. It won't change our preparation, Harry. The one thing that I'm really proud of everybody in our organization that we're really starting to understand is that it's more about us and our preparation. Can we improve in the areas that we're deficient right now? And that's what our focus has been on. Now, when you game plan for a team, there are certain things that you look at in all three phases, special teams, defense, and offense, things that they do well that you've got to try to take away. But our focus, our players right now are so locked in on the areas that we need to improve on as a football team.
Bobby, now that you are officially bowl eligible, do you guys have a favorite as to which bowl you'd like to go to?
We don't. Our motto is tell us when the plane leaves and tell us what time we kick the ball in the air. That's what our motto is. That was our number 2 goal that we set as a team this summer, was to go to a bowl game. And for our 13 seniors, half of those guys were here back in 2012. They redshirted when we went to the playoffs. Then they went through a sometimes painful transition process where there were a couple years there was not going to be an opportunity for postseason. So I'm very excited, particularly for those players that have worked for it. But the number 1 goal our players set at the start of the year was to compete for the championship of the Eastern Division. And we're into the second week in November, and we still have an opportunity to do that. So we are all very focused on that goal.
You mentioned a few players reached out to say congrats and all. Do you remember roughly how many you heard from?
Yeah, I got messages from probably a dozen of the former players. Talked to a couple of them. It was very rewarding, emotional experience with some of them. I know a lot of our coaches, particularly the coaches that have been here, have been in touch. They laid the foundation. Those kids, I think back to their first couple of years, there was same thing. There was no postseason. It was just starting. And then for a couple of years, we were a playoff team in 11 and 12, and everybody was really excited. We were going to have an opportunity to compete for a national championship. And then we made the decision to move, and it was 2 more years in transition where there was nothing that you could work for at the end of the season. So those kids had an experience that's unique to them. That's not consistent with college athletics and the opportunity for postseason. When you think about the fact that 4 of the years, this is our 8th year, 4 of those years, there wasn't an opportunity for postseason. Those kids that laid the foundation deserve a lot of credit for what they did.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you all for coming. Thank you to our friends with Optima Health, and a big shout out to the 12th Monarchs, and we hope to see you all again loud and proud Saturday at 3:30 versus Southern Mississippi.